Hi there, welcome to another JennyCam, and I thought one of the things that I haven't talked about an awful lot of late is the state of my Volvo. So this is going to be a bit of a state of the Volvo address, and as you can see, we're sat in it, and still exists, still here, still notionally doing some work on it. In fact, no, not notionally, I have been, had a little bit of time during the recovery from a knee. Thanks for all the comments that you've been posting about that. Yes, it is getting better. Yes, it is doing that slowly, going through physiotherapy at the moment. But just really to try and keep me busy, I've been aiming to do the work that needed doing on this car, and I've got quite a lot accomplished. The interior still looks a little bit grubby. It does make me wonder, actually, did cars look this kind of yellowy, beigey brown when they were brand new, or is this just the colour that 22-year-old cars slowly go? Maybe it was white when it was new, I don't know. But I need to do a full auto detail on the interior, make it look nice again. But let's have a think now. What have I been doing? Well, let's go on a guided tour, shall we? Just go underneath here and I'll talk you through the stuff that we've been doing. It's raining in the night there. There we are. As we can see, brand spanking new battery, fully charged, ready to go. And actually, something I found in the boot was this. It's just like a piece of plastic trim, and I did wonder what it was, and then I realised that it's for going over your battery terminal, stops you from accidentally being able to short out straight across the terminals. So it's an original piece, so it's gone back in there. We've done a lot of work down in the top end. All of this has been off. That was in a previous video. Okay, well we can see here now that engine's running and it is not inflating the glove. So redone injector seals, the gaskets are all redone, but the main purpose of that was to get down to the PCV, the positive crankcase ventilation system. That's all been renewed, which has really helped the emissions no end. Doesn't really smoke anywhere near as much as it did, but also it stops the engine from getting pressurised, so that's going to save the oil seals. Somewhere down underneath all there, it's all been reassembled. There's a little switch on top of the gearbox so that when you select reverse, it's supposed to turn your reversing lights on. What had happened was, even before I bought the car, there was no reversing lights. Never really worked. Well, never worked. My father had this car before me, and they never really worked adequately for him. I think they flickered when he first got it, and then that was it, and then they died, and never got fixed. It was actually quite a cheap part. What are those things? You think, if I'd have known that 12 years ago when I bought the car, I'd have just fixed it. It was quite an easy fix, and amazingly, the reversing lights came straight on first try, not even blown bulbs. We've got a new auxiliary drive belt on there. The old one is supposed to be changed every 20 or 30,000 miles. I'd done 80,000 miles and never changed it, and my dad's not sure he ever changed it before that. It was very badly perished. It's amazing, isn't it? You leave a car not working for a while and all this sort of patina of rust appears, which is most disconcerting. I'm going to renew those Jubilee clips. They're on the water hoses to the radiator. I don't want them blasting off. What else? Well, we've got done both front wings. Most of this is fiberglass, and it's all been ground back, all the rust treated, repainted. Although I noticed there's a little bit there I must have missed, and it's decided it's going to deceitfully bubble through with rust. So I will do some work on that. I'm going to try and source a new front wing. I know I tried to do this. I did talk about that in a previous video. They're just almost impossible to get. So really this was a case of mend and make do. It did have a big hole, like yay big, and it went along there, and it was really in a bad way. So to get it back on the road, this is a kind of crap up job. It taught me a lot about spraying bodywork, but you know, it needs must. Also redone a lot of work on the front bumper. All this has been sanded, filled and painted where necessary, because you can still see some of the scrapes, but they're all painted over now. Need to give it a good clean. This is the trouble, it sits here and goes green. But all of that front bumper has been reinvestigated and repainted. This side as well, I did a little bit of a better job. I did this one second. It still needs final buffing. It looks a bit matte. It needs some cutting paste working on there just to get that to go right. But all of this is fiberglass as well, and it's had all the rust treated. Also had new linkage, windscreen wiper linkage, and that's the bit, all the arms that go underneath here that drive from the motor, and all the bushes on that were worn, so these were a little bit loose, so that's all been replaced. And now for the first time in my ownership, it actually clears the front screen properly. The interior's not really had anything done. I did try and clean it, but being sat for 3 years, all the gunk and stuff turns back up again. Here, again, needs some more lacquer and a little bit of cutting paste, but all of this has been reprofiled. There's kind of an accident repair here. What's actually happened is they've probably just scraped by something, not even my dad, before my dad had it, and the body repair was actually pretty good, but this was all filler. But it had cracked there and water was getting in underneath, and it wasn't rusting because the original paint was actually still intact underneath the silver paint. But it was lifting the filler and it was going green and horrible, so cleaned all that out and rebuilt it back up with filler, and it's not bad for a complete and utter idiot like me who doesn't know what they're doing. Down here you can see the bumpers off. All of this here was actually, the metal's gone quite thin because it's rusted deceitfully from the back through, and there's a wrinkle here and a big hole. That looks a mess, but you're never going to see it, but so I'm not too bothered. But I've treated everything, painted it all into there, so this is all a lot nicer than it was. Moving around to the back, well, this was all rotten as anything. This still needs sanding, lacquering, cutting with the cutting paste, and we're getting there. You can see there was some rust I had to grind off there, but up and underneath here, this was really bad. And here, now, that there and that there was where the original dealer, not mentioning any names, but that's where the original dealer had fitted the number plate, and I know it was them because the number plate still had the dealer's name on it, and they just used a nail, like bang, bang, made 2 holes, screwed into that, so of course it rusted. You're supposed to screw them in there, and they got like a plastic insert, that a bit like a roll plug. They hadn't bothered to measure properly, they'd done it in a hurry, and as a result, a lot of rust in this area, and it is quite thin metal, but that's been filled up, just try to give it some integrity. I think it's going to need a new boot lid at some point if I keep this long term. Well, the tow bar, it looks a bit weird and speckled. That's because I used grey primer and then black hammerite over the top, and they haven't really quite gelled with each other, but not in a bad way. Just I think hammerite primer grey over with the hammerite smooth black don't like each other, and you get this kind of weird mottled effect. It's not peeled or lifted or anything, but a lot of the rust on there has been scraped off. I need to refasten now these with some zip ties, but then underneath, oh no, let's stick here. Right, these, ground down, repainted. There was a bit of rust on this one, but caught it well in time. This side, as you can see, oh dearie me, but you know, needs must when the devil relieves himself in your water closet of life. So I think there's enough mileage on that. The top's certainly intact, so I'm going to reuse that, mostly because, again, you can't get these parts. They're just almost impossible to get, and if you go to a breaker's yard, the problem you have is that all of the ones you find will be equally as bad, if not worse. That's what I found when I was trying to get the front wings for these. All of this has been worked down and repainted. There's a whole area there, rust treated, painted, and then preemptive rust treatment and repair. Let's see, up here, I think that'll see it. It's probably come out black, but all of that has been scraped, ground down, repainted with metal treating paint. Again, the bottom of this wing here was just starting to go, and that would have rotted out a bit like the front wings, deceitfully and hidden until it was too late and made nasty marks and everything. So that's been ground down and treated. The other side was even worse. I gave you a hint of that before, but all up there has been painted. It probably won't show up on this. So a lot of painting work, rust treatment work on the back end. It's amazing. Volvos don't rust? I think not. I should Coco. What else have we been doing? Right, well, if I can find my keys, because the battery's disconnected, we have to do this manually. Oh, look. Oh. It was a working gas strut, and now it's popped off. I'm going to have to... that's a bit of a pain. The problem with these is that they're not quite... They're made for a generic supplier, and they don't clip on properly on the Volvo, and it's really annoying me. Ah, dear. So I'm going to have to repair that. It's a pain in the neck. I think I know how I'm going to stop it from doing that, probably with a piece of string. But let's move on. A lot of rust treatment. You can probably just about see the silver in there. That's actually gone a bit weird. It's not been lacquered because of where it is. I might pop this off and re-lacquer it, but all of this has been ground down, repainted in silver all the way around because there was water getting trapped in there, just underneath here, and it was rotting. Caught it in time, treated it, and hopefully that's not going to develop. And really the last thing that I need to do is to adjust the handbrake. So I've got to take these wheels off. I'm going to need to do that anyway, because when the back bumper goes back on, I've got to pop rivet onto the inner wheel arch liner, and to do that properly, to get the tool in to do it, I've got to take these wheels off. So that'll come part and parcel of trying to adjust the handbrake. But yeah, let's just see how it goes. And now I've got to get into this thing and try and make that gas strut work. Oh, it's a pain, isn't it? Nothing. Old cars, classic car restoration. Rule number 1, if you take a part off to replace it, you will find at least 2 other parts that also need replacing that you didn't know about. Rule number 2, if you find a bolt that's rusted up and seized, you can guarantee it will be the one that is the least accessible, that you can't see properly, that you can only feel, and for whatever reason, it's decided to weld itself right on it in there. And rule 3, if you're trying to repair rust, for every 1 square inch of rust that you find and treat, that you know about, you'll probably find at least 2 other square feet of rust that you didn't, that you think, oh, I've got to treat that now as well. And final thing to show you, this is the back bumper, all nicely cleaned and painted. I've got my father making a part that just clips into there to secure the plastic to the back of the car. Waiting on that, and once I get that back, I'll be able to get it all fitted, and then we're done, and hopefully see if it gets through its MOT. Well, it's a short video. Unfortunately Zoe's very busy at the moment, so not had time to edit up the big Friday video. That will probably now come on Monday. So message for all the Patreons, the sneak peek early view of the video won't be this one, it will be Monday's video that you'll get to see early sometime over the weekend. It was filmed a couple of weeks ago, but because Zoe's been so busy with committee meetings, council meetings, planning inquiries, that kind of thing, obviously the main job, that job does come first, and everything slid a little bit, but hopefully the next few weeks normal service should be resumed. But until next time, don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel. You'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take very good care of yourself, and bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And a special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Mark Anthony and Michael Churchwood. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/JenniferKirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knob T. Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.